Technology, computer science. That's my thing. Over the past few years, I've done several computer science-related projects, and it's led me to the conclusion that technology really has the power to bring such a large impact on the world and change so many people's lives as we know it. This is what caused me to believe that this is my passion. And so, about a year and a half ago, the opportunity arose for me to create my very own startup. And so, I decided to continue on with this passion of mine and create something that would be generally useful for people. My startup was called ShareUp, which is a credit system where people can share resources within their community, like snowblowers, lawnmowers, and others like that. In pursuit of this, I did, yes, face many challenges. I had no idea how to create an app. I had no idea how much to charge in order to bring a steady stream of profit. But out of all of these concerns that I had no idea how to get people to actually use the services I was providing. And so I thought for a little bit and decided, okay, what if I ask people to connect their social medias? And then I can use that information to send information about ShareUp to all of their contacts. But then I paused for a second and thought that that is just wrong. That is just simply and morally wrong. Because I'm taking such a large shortcut simply to grow my own personal platform. But then I came to the conclusion that engagement is the lifeblood for every digital platform, especially social media platforms, where engagement is the prime driving force for advertisement revenue. Now, engagement cannot always be manually maximized. Machine learning algorithms can be used to maximize certain parameters. I personally know this as I've created my own artificial intelligence fake news detector, which can detect fake news and classify a news article as real or fake very accurately in an unbiased manner. Now, I am not the only one who had this discovery that artificial intelligence is something that should be used. As I had tried to find ways to manually engage users with ShareUp, large social media platforms like Facebook had started to delegate the task of maximizing their users and increasing the amount of time users spend on the social media platform to social media algorithms. Wow, the task of maximizing engagement has just been given to a computer algorithm. Now, the biggest thing that's changed in this is that these computer algorithms, they don't care about us. They don't care what negative effects may be caused by the variations they make to that social media platform. To them, it's all just about those engagement statistics. You see, once these social media platforms came to the conclusion that all they needed to do was optimize for engagement, they just kept on thinking of more and more nefarious ways to do this. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what brings me to the concept of dark patterns. The concept of us being tricked into doing things that we may not want to do and we may not even know about, but benefit the business in question, that is what is called dark patterns. We all know that all these social media platforms are hyper-focused on engagement, but when they start using dark patterns to drive that engagement, we don't know what to believe or what not to believe. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but your Instagram posts don't come in chronological order on your feed. This is because social media algorithms, putting two and two things together, realize that some posts are receiving so many likes, followers, shares, and comments, so it puts them right at the top of your feed. It does this so that you see them first right away. But now all this attraction that these posts are receiving, who knows if they're receiving good and positive attraction? If the sole purpose is to maximize how much time you spend on the app, then It doesn't matter if these posts are spewing misinformation, slander, fake news. It's all just about making you stay on the app for as long as possible. Engagement has become the number one metric for which all these social media platforms operate on. Now, let me take you back to some of the social media platforms we know most about today. And let's go back way to the beginning. Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook. He was just a college student who wanted to create a platform for his peers to communicate on. Kevin Systrom of Instagram, he was an avid photographist and wanted to create a place to post his photos. Then Evan Spielberg with Snapchat, Jack Dorsey with Twitter. You see, all of these men started off by themselves, where they too needed to add more engagement to their platforms. But now when it came to increasing this engagement, they didn't specifically want to cause misinformation and infringe upon our right to privacy. They generally just needed to get more and more users to see the services that they were providing. And when they realized that they can use dark patterns for this, that is all they kept doing. Now, who uses social media the most? It is very definitely my generation, and I think we can all agree that. As a teenager, part of this large group of users, I can clearly see how my generation is being exploited simply for our interactions and reactions. Dark patterns are starting to control what we think and how we operate and interact with each other. It's gotten so far that since we're the largest group of social media users, we are starting to become like those social media algorithms I mentioned earlier. And that is what I call the social mediaization of the mind, or SMOM for short. This is where we interact with each other, but do it solely for the purpose of a reaction. Let me give you an example. Most of my friends go on Instagram and post on Instagram solely for the likes, comments, and gaining more followers. A friend of mine even gets frustrated when her post doesn't receive 200 likes on the first day. Now, that mentality of always needing to receive and give reactions in some way or another has leaked and spread into everything, as we know, even things they weren't intended to be a part of. Take Apple's iMessage, for example. You now have the ability to double-click a message and give it some sort of reaction. iMessage isn't even considered a social media platform. Now, the same phenomena is existent on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, almost everything. That same phenomena of being able to react to a message is existent on every single thing as we know it. Now, that exact phenomena has affected my generation and how we interact with each other on a daily basis. Because now, whenever it comes to communicating, we think, oh, what can I do to receive this type of reaction from my peers? What can I do to ensure that when I say this, they respond with a ha-ha or react with a heart? And we have started to prioritize engagement over communication. So many of us have told ourselves that we won't fall into this trap. And myself included, we've started acting like dark patterns, where the social mediaization of our mind will make us do literally anything, even if that means doing something bad. Now, I know people personally who have gone out of their way to spend money to buy followers, likes, shares, comments, and so much more, simply to project themselves as someone they deep down aren't, but wish to promote themselves as. And the social mediaization of our mind is causing them to do this and create this false narrative. It has gone to the extent where trends and challenges online will make us do literally anything. There was even a challenge about a year ago where we were encouraged to vandalize our school and destroy property. Seems crazy, right? The Devious-like challenge right here encouraged us to do that. And it was so popular and was on every single social media platform. It was solely because every time someone posted or made a video about this, it would receive so much attention, and it was an endless cycle. Teachers, administration, principals would make it very clear that if anyone were to vandalize the school, it would result in an automatic expulsion. But that leads us to the question, when looking in retrospect, why would we continue onwards with this? Well, it's the same answer that motivates all teenagers to do anything on social media. It's to receive more reactions and more engagement, more attention. And you do that all for the good reaction. And you wonder, what's the price of that good reaction? Is it really worth possible criminal charges, expulsion, and even more? These are a couple examples of the things posted on social media that we were encouraged to do in our very own schools. So many of us, as I mentioned earlier, that the social media causes us to spread misinformation. And sometimes it spreads misinformation to us without us even knowing about it. And that does seem scary, but isn't it even scarier that us humans, are becoming that platform for misinformation? So many of my peers at this point in time are at the age of around 16 to 17 years old, and it seems like there's already such a large divide between all of us. Isn't this the point in time when we're supposed to be forming our opinions in the world? And if so, why does it seem like everything is already so set in stone? We are letting the social mediaization of our minds influence how we operate in our everyday lives. We need to make sure to focus on the true message of what people say to each other when we're interacting. And the sole purpose of Facebook and Instagram is so that we can spread the joy and spread positivity and share our memories. And I still think we can do that. Because you see, I agree, there are some things that are out of our control in regards to what computer algorithms are evident on what social media platforms. But interacting with each other, communication, that is something that will always be in our hands. No one can take that from us. By focusing on the true message and disregarding things like that small number of how many likes we have on our posts, that is what we need to make sure to do. It shouldn't matter. You shouldn't be calling your friends asking, hey, can you bump my post up by another like? We can make sure and need to prioritize to keep communication over engagement. And by doing that, that is a world I would certainly love to live in. Thank you.